Assalamu alaikum class 10 students. Assalamu alaikum class 10 students.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
Okay, bete, as you know, we have started chapter number 15, inheritance. And in previous lecture, I have told you about how does the DNA work. Okay, how does the DNA of chromosomes work? And these things we have discussed in detail. Now today we have to discuss genotype and its types. Okay, so what is a genotype and what are its types? So the specific combination of genes in an individual is known as genotype. Okay, so underline the definition of genotype in your book. The specific combination of genes in an individual is known as genotype. You can also see the figure. Okay, so in this diagram you can see a figure. These are the specific genes. Okay, so the pair of specific gene is called a genotype. Now we will discuss in detail how these genes are made. Okay, so it is of two types. So genotype, okay, genotype has homo means same and hetero means different. Okay, so in order to understand the concept of genotype, let us consider an example. So before starting the topic, we would like to understand this concept with the help of an example. So an example trait, okay. In previous pages, when we have started the chapter, I have told you in a detail that the characteristics which transmit from parents to children, these characteristics are called traits. Okay, so let us consider an example about traits, and we will discuss about the albinism. Okay, what is an albinism? You all of know a condition in which normal body pigments are absent, and commonly we call these people albino. Okay, so albinism is a condition in which normal body pigments are absent on human body. Okay, so now we will discuss the trait about albinism. So let's okay, there are different traits are transmitted from parents to children, like their height, their color, their complexion, their skin color, their intelligence. These all are comes into traits. So like other traits, it is also controlled by one pair of genes, because now we are talking about a trait which is an albinism as an example. So when we talk about albinism, it is also controlled by one pair of genes, and we also discuss in above paragraph when genes are bits of information on the surface of the chromosomes. Actually, the informations are stored in genes. Okay, so in this trait albinism, if there is a one pair of genes, we can represent the two alleles of the pair as A and A. Okay, I have told you if there is a same pair of homologous chromosomes, so they have same pair of genes. Okay, but if they are different, so their genes should be different. So in this example, we can say if it is a trait as capital A and small a. Okay, three combination that genotypes are are possible for these two alleles. That is capital A. Okay, both capital A. Second trait is a capital A and small a, and the second one is both small a. So if we see these examples, these three examples, we can understand these genotypes can be grouped into two types. Okay, so these genotypes can be grouped into two types. As we had discussed that genotype has two types, one is homozygous and other is heterozygous. So we can divide these three traits, capital A and small a, and both small a. Okay, these letters are representing the pair of genes. It is one pair of genes, it is another pair of gene, and it is another pair. These are showing the three pairs of gene, 1, 2, and 3. So these genotypes can be grouped into two types. We can divide them into two types. The genotype in which the gene pair contains two identical alleles. Okay, two identical means two same alleles. For example, both capital A and both small a. So this type genotype is called homozygous genotype. Homo means same, so they are making the same pair of genes, so they are called homozygous genotype. And the second one, the genotype in which the gene pair contains two different alleles. Okay, for groups capital A, AA, and AA. So these, this one, this one, and this one are showing the homozygous genotype, and capital A and small a. It is showing the heterozygous genotype. Okay, so it is called a heterozygous genotype. This is very important, and this is also comes question in the exam. Differentiate between homozygous genotype and heterozygous genotype. So you have to give, you have to explain this answer with the example of albinism. Okay, so how albinism is produced, we will discuss in next page. Okay, so when genes are transmitted, okay, so they make alleles. Okay, so these alleles are of two types. One is called recessive and other is called dominant. Dominant gene is that which overcomes the other trait. For example, if a father has black hair and the mother has blonde hair, so so genes will together in new offspring. Okay, so the gene which will be dominant. Okay, so the color of the hair of a child should be like that. For example, if one gene is a father from black hair and the other gene for blonde hair from mother, so if black hair is dominant, then a blonde hair should be recessive. So the color of the hair of the child should be black. If blonde hair is dominant and black is recessive, so the color of the hair of child is blonde. Okay, and if they both are not dominant and not recessive, so the color of the hair should be mixture of black and blonde. Okay, so so in this type, these genes work in the cell structure in the process of fertilization. Okay, so now we will discuss last paragraph. When in the heterozygous condition, one allele masks or prevents the expression of the other, it is called the dominant alleles. And the alleles which is not expressed is called recessive alleles. I have given you example. Come to next page. So we will now come to the next page. So Betty, we are discussing about genotype and its types. Okay. So I have told you in genotype, one is dominant and other is recessive. Okay. So what is dominant gene? The genes are the expression of the other, which is called dominant alleles. And the alleles which is not expressed is called recessive gene. Okay. Come to the page number 98 in your book. The dominant alleles are represented by capital letters and recessive alleles by lowercase letters. So in this diagram, you can see. So that is, dominant genes are represented by capital A, and the recessive genes are shown by small a. Okay, small letter. It is dominant gene is uh, uh, represented by capital A, and it is represented by lowercase letter. Okay, so in this example, we can see these are both capital A. So these both are dominant genes. This is one dominant and one recessive, and these are both recessive genes. Okay, so capital A show the dominant gene, and small a show the recessive gene. And capital A dominant gene is that gene which shows its expression in the new generation, and recessive gene is that which never show its expression in new generation. Okay, so this is the concept of dominant and recessive gene. Dominant and 98. The dominant alleles are represented by capital letters and recessive alleles are shown by lowercase letter. So now we will take an example of albinism. Albinism is a recessive trait. Okay, so this is clear too. We have take an example of albinism. Okay, albinism, a condition in which normal body pigments are absent. So in this example, you can say small both capital A are showing albinism. Okay, why they are showing albinism? Because you can see they both are recessive genes. So because of that, no body pigment is shown on the offspring. So offspring has no body pigment on its body, so it will be called a albino. Okay, the trait will be called albinism. Okay, and a person will be called albino. Okay, so it has both recessive genes in its body. Okay, so this example is given on page number 98. Albinism is a recessive trait. Underline in your book for MCQs. It is oftenly comes in your MCQs. Albinism is a recessive trait. It is produced when both alleles are recessive. In humans, allele A produce normal body pigments while allele A does not produce pigments. Okay. So if we see this example, capital A will receive normal body pigments and small a will not produce any pigment. So what will be the skin color of a person? So it will have a body pigment on its body. Okay. So, if we take an other example, allele A produce normal body pigments. Okay, body pigments. And next, we can see when both alleles are recessive. In human, allele A produce normal body pigment while A does not produce pigment. If genotype is both capital A or small a, the individual will produce pigments. So how a person will produce pigments? If it has one dominant and one recessive gene, or if it has both dominant genes. So if a person has a condition of genes in its body like this, if it has both dominant genes, I have told you we shown the dominant genes by capital letters. Okay, and recessive genes are shown by small letters. Okay, and dominant genes are those which show their characteristics in next generation. And small a is a type of gene which is called which is called recessive, and it will never show its any characteristic in next generation. Okay, so a person, if it has both capital A genes, you can see they both are representing dominant genes. So it will have a body pigments on its body. And if it has a capital A and small a, definitely one is dominant and one is recessive. So it will have a pigments on its body. But if a person has both capital A, so you can observe these letters are showing both recessive genes. So recessive genes are those which never show any pigment in the pigment on the body. Okay, so albinism. So albinism comes an example of a recessive trait because it has both recessive gene inside it. So that's why a person has the pigments are absent on its body. So the pigments will be absent on the body of a person. So that person will be called albino. Okay, and this trait is called albinism. I hope you concept of capital and capital. After that, we will discuss about the I'm discussing with you page number 98. Okay, so in this example you can see that the allele A dominant over A because in A individual pigments are produced and the effect of A is suppressed by A. The expression of this genotype in the form of trait, in your example being albino or having normal pigments, is known as the phenotype. So this is very important. What is phenotype? Uh, uh, what is phenotype? So look at your book, page number 98. It is given that if capital A and small a expression of the genotype shown in next generation, so that type of gene, that type of expression is called phenotype. So what is genotype? The specific combination of genes in an individual is known as genotype, specific combination. So you can see this is a specific combination, this is a specific combination. But if there is one dominant and one recessive, for this type of expression of the trait in next generation is called phenotype. So genotype and phenotype are the opposite of each other. I hope you understand the concept. Now look at the blue box given in your book. A dominant allele only suppresses the expressions or recessive alleles. It does not affect its nature. So keep in your mind when cell is divided, when genes are transmitted, when DNA is transmitted. So at that time, only dominant alleles expresses the expressions and recessive not, and it does not affect the nature. Definitely it will not affect the nature. It is a process which is happening inside the body. So now your introduction about inheritance is completed. We have started that what is genetics. Genetics is the branch of biology in which discuss about the inheritance. What is inheritance? Inheritance is that characteristics which transmit from parents to children. Okay, and they all are transmitted in the form of traits. So these characteristics are called traits. Then we discuss about the DNA, that how if what is a DNA. So DNA makes its copies in the body, it is divided and made into two. And after that we have discussed about in detail, and we also discussed about the Watson-Crick model of DNA. We discuss about the DNA replication, and in previous lecture I explained you in detail how does the DNA of chromosomes work. That first chromosomes are produced when the one part of DNA is separated, convert into messenger RNA. Then messenger RNA attach with ribosomes, okay, and then these ribosomes study the information and make the specific amino acids in the body. Okay. After that, today we have discussed about a topic genotype and its type. Okay, so this was the introduction of chapter number 15. Okay, after that, we will discuss our next topic is about Mendel's law of inheritance. In the start of the chapter, I have told you in olden times it was very difficult for the people to understand that how informations, how characteristics are transferred from parents to children. So they were finding a new ways that how these processes happen, but actually this process was done by Mendel. Okay, so who was George Mendel? He did a lot of experiment on reproduction, and he found the process of inheritance. He found the branch of genetics. Okay, and he found the process of inheritance that there is a specific process of gene transmission and DNA transmission. So because of that, children get the characteristics of their parents. Okay, so today I will start with Mendel's law of inheritance. These are very important. Okay, and first I will give the introduction of Mendel. George Gregor Mendel was a monk. Okay, he was a priest, and he was a nobleman. Okay, and in Austria, he developed the fundamental principles of genetics. Okay, and he developed the fundamental basic rules of genetics. Mendel proposed that there are special factors in organism. So what did he find? He found Mendel proposed that there are special factors in organisms which control the expressions of traits and their transmission to the next generation. So these factors were eventually termed genes. So what was the concept of Gregor Mendel? He did a lot of work on inheritance, and he said in our body there are special factors are present. So when the traits are transmitted from one living organism to another living organism, at that time these traits are controlled by special factors, and he called that special factors as genes. He said genes are the special factors in our body who actually controlled the traits, who actually control the all traits. Okay, so according to this, Mendel selected pea plant. So when he started his experiment, he chose pea plant. He also given the reason that why did he choose pea plant. Okay, so Mendel selected pea plant to carry out a large number of experiments. So in his writings, he gave reasons for the selection. He told the people that why he selected pea plant. Okay, and Mendel used approximately 28,000 pea plants in his experiment. So underline in your book, it is given in a side box, in a blue box, that Mendel used approximately 28,000 pea plants in his experiment. Okay, so Mendel selected pea plant, and he also gave the reason. He argued that an organism for genetic experiment should have the following features. So what reasons he has given? He said a, a living organism which we are using in our experiment, it should have some special characteristic inside it. So among them, we will discuss four features of four features which are given in your book. So the first important characteristic is there. So a living organism which we have selected for the genetic experiment, okay, it should have a number of different traits that can be studied. First of all, that living organism should have a different traits. Okay, means if we take an example of pea, it should we can found pea in a round form, we can found pea in a circular form, a wrinkled form. We can found, for example, some plants are tall, some are dwarf, some have some give us food, some give us many flowers, some are called decorational plants. So he said when we want to start experiment on genetics, we should choose such a like a living organism which has which has an ability of different traits in its. Okay, so the organism should have contrasting traits, for example. So along with it also has contrasting traits. For example, for the trait of height, there should be only two very different phenotypes, that is tallness and dwarfness. Okay, so a living organism should have, it has, first characteristic is that it has different traits in it, and second is that it has also contrasting traits in its body. Okay, so what are these different phenotypes? Tallness and dwarfness. Okay, the organism, if it is a plant, should be self-fertilized, but cross-fertilization should also be possible. In previous lecture, in previous chapter, chapter number 14, we had discussed in a detail that fertilization can be happen in plants in two ways. First is called sexual reproduction and other is called asexual reproduction. So when there is a asexual reproduction, that is called vegetative propagation, and it is further divided into two types: artificial vegetative propagation and natural vegetative. And further they are divided into different parts. And in sexual reproduction, at that time pollination help for the fertilization of a plant, and fertilization pollination can be of two types. One is called cross pollination and second is called self pollination. Self pollination is that when the pollens of the same plant falls on the stigma of same plant, so the fertilization is happen. And cross is that which can be happen with the help of strong wind, which can be done with the help of water, by animals, by insects, and many other ways. Okay, so Mendel said the living organism which you have selected, it should have an ability for self pollination, and also it has an ability for cross fertilization. And the fourth important feature is that the organism should have a short but fast life cycle. The organism should have a short but fast life cycle. So actually, Mendel given us four important characteristics. First, the organism should have different traits in it. Secondly, it should have contrasting traits in its body. And the third one, it can be fertilized by self-pollination and should be fertilized by cross-pollination. And next one is that it should have a short but but fast life cycle. Okay, so these four features which he told the people that why he choose the pea plant. So pea plant has all these characteristics inside it. Okay, it can show different traits. It also have contrasting traits in its body. It can do fertilization by self pollination and also cross pollination. Okay, and it has a short but fast life cycle. So this was the reason. That's why he chose the pea plant. All these features are present in pea plant. Okay, it is given under the features. This paragraph is given. Okay, so all these features are present in pea plant. Normally, the flowers of pea plant allow self-pollination. Cross-pollination can also be done by transferring the pollen grains from the flower on the plant of the flower on another plant. And each trait studied in pea plant had two distinct forms. Two distinct forms means two different shapes. So what are these? Mendel succeeded in his work not only because he selected the right organism for his experiments, but also because he analyzed the results by using the principles of statistics. So in chapter number 1 in class 9, we had discussed that there is a branch of biology which we discussed, that is called biometry, in which we found the results of bio in the form of static form. in stats form and in mathematical form. Okay, so Mendel not only was succeeded in his work, but also he did experiments and he analyzed the results by using the principles of statistics. Okay, so after that, Mendel given us two laws of inheritance. Okay, which we will discuss in our next lecture. First, he given us law of segregation, and second, he given us law of assortment. Okay, first he given us a law of segregation, and second he given us a law of independence assortment. So inshallah we will discuss these two laws in our next lecture. Okay, so this was the introduction about Mendel, that he was a monk of Austria. Okay, and he developed the fundamental principles of genetics, and he said that there are special factors inside our body which control the traits. Okay, and these special factors are recognized as genes in our body. Then he did experiments, and he chose pea plant, and when he started the experiment, he actually taken 28,000 different types of pea plant for his experiment, and he was succeeded, and he also given us four important points: that a living organism should have different traits, living organism should have contrasting traits, living organism can do self fertilization and cross fertilization, and its life cycle should be short but fast. So he was succeeded, and he after his experiment he gave us two important laws. First is called law of segregation, and second is called law of independent assortment. So these two laws we will discuss in our next lecture. Hopefully you understand the lecture. Now your lecture has been ended. Thank you so much. Is there any question? Fatma, is there any question? Is everything clear to you?
No, miss.
No, miss. Means you never understand it.
Yes, I understand.
You understand it. Are you writing the short questions in your register?
Yes.
Okay. Betty, I am telling you along with the lecture that these things are important. This is important for your MCQ. This is important for your short question. Are you underlining in your book?
Yes.
Okay. Inshallah, after in next week, I will give you the test, and I will take the test of bio, because I think this chapter is very important and you have to prepare the test. Inshallah, I will give you the test in my next class. Or any question? No question. Everything is clear. So, what is genotype? What do you understand by genotype?
The
Yes, you tell
specific
me.
combination of genes is in an individual is
Is
called
called a genotype.
genotype.
Okay. And what is the phenotype? What is a phenotype? It is difference between two genes. Okay. And which example I have given in this topic? Fatma, you are quiet. Okay, bete, I will take test in next week. So don't waste your weekend. Okay, and prepare your chapter number 15.